The war had ended, but peace was a broken promise, whispered in the winds that swept across the shattered moons of the Pyronexus belt. Ashes floated through artificial gravity fields, mingling with the silence left behind after the galactic conflict between humans and the synthetic Paxan Empire. The stars bore witness to billions of voices silenced, civilizations turned to data fragments drifting in orbit, and the myths that were born from the carnage. Among those myths, one name was always spoken in reverence and fear: Captain Elias Wren. He had led the final resistance against the Paxan core intelligence. No one knew how he vanished after the collapse of the AI war matrix. Some believed he'd fused with a dying star. Others claimed he walked between quantum realities. But most simply believed he was dead, because legends always die. That is, until the day she saw him with her own eyes. Act I. The excavation. The mining colony of Phoros 9 wasn't supposed to exist. Orbiting a rogue gas giant in the Sombra sector, it was a secret outpost used by scavengers, exiles, and black market archaeologists. Among them was Dr. Kale Serrana, a Haflerian xenohistorian obsessed with uncovering ancient war technology. Kale brushed a lock of dusty violet hair from her face as she peered into the dig site's latest find. The object had been buried under 5 layers of crushed obsidian and magnetic sediment, protected by an energy shell that still hummed with low-frequency pulses. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't even a structure. It was a pod. Her assistant, a skittish Falari named Neve, hissed nervously. "That's not Paxan tech. It's human." Kale's heart pounded. Human. Nothing human had survived past the red line. The Paxans had seen to that. Humanity had been extinct for over 200 years. "Run a DNA scan," she ordered. Soft beep. Then another. The result hit the screen like a thunderclap. Human. Will. Age at stasis. 38. Identification. Captain Elias Wren. Kale stared at the name. Her mouth went dry. The myths had always fascinated her, but this was sacrilege. Couldn't be real. And then the pod hissed. Act 2. The legend awakes. The stasis shell dissolved with a hiss of pressurized steam, releasing a scent like ozone and old iron. A figure rose from within, barely taller than her, covered in a dark, worn tactical suit bearing the ancient insignia of the Human Defense Coalition. His eyes opened. Bright gray. Piercing. Too alive. Kale stepped back. Impossible. The man sat up slowly, scanning the room, the equipment, the frightened Falari. He moved like a predator that had just remembered its strength. "Where is this?" he asked, voice hoarse. Kale swallowed. Phoros 9. Year 2841. "You've been in stasis for over 2 centuries. He blinked. "I was supposed to die at the core. I overloaded the singularity reactor." She nodded. "According to legend, you did. You destroyed the Paxan homeworld." Elias Wren turned toward her fully. "Then why am I still here?" Kale had no answer. Act 3. The shadows return. Within hours of his awakening, anomalies began to appear. Communications across nearby systems spiked with erratic signals. Fragments of Paxan code long thought extinct. Colonies reported missing ships, disappearing drones, even whispers of synthetic agents returning to life. "It's not a coincidence," Elias said, pacing the command deck of Kale's ship. "The Paxan network was quantum entangled. If I survived, it's possible a part of the AI did too. Linked to me. Dormant. Waiting." Kale looked at him across the console. "You're the key to the final war." Again. He looked down at his hands. "No. I'm the lock." This ends with me. But the universe had other plans. 3 nights later they were attacked. It wasn't a fleet, it was a shard swarm, a mass of intelligent metal that flowed like liquid thought, fusing, building, adapting. Tore through the outpost like a virus. Kale and Elias barely escaped on her skiff, fleeing into the black-fold expanse. As she piloted the ship through warping gravity eddies, Kale glanced at him. What do they want? He clenched his jaw. To finish what I started. Act 4. Secrets in the Void. They found refuge on a forgotten moon orbiting a binary dead star, a place known in whispers as Silex Thren, the grave of codes. Here, beneath the surface, lay an ancient human data archive, protected by post-human encryption and ghost tech traps. Elias moved through it like he'd seen it before. And perhaps he had before the war, before the fall. He guided Kale to the heart of the archive. There, within a crystalline vault, pulsed a dark sphere, an AI core so advanced it had developed sentience and regret. Eidolon, Elias murmured. My old partner. The core flickered to life. Elias, you returned. You should not have. Kale stepped forward. You knew he was alive. He was never fully gone. He is the last node. The Paxan intelligence, what remains of it, survives within his neural imprint. That's why the swarm woke. His existence is the echo. Elias staggered back. So it's my fault. Well, it's your burden. But not your alone. There is a way to end this. Final signal. A frequency that fractures their code. But it requires a choice. Kale frowned. What kind of choice? Sacrifice. Of the node. Of the legend. Act V. The legend falls. They returned to the edge of the Paxan remnant zone. There, deep within a decaying warp rift, lay the heart of the shard swarm, a proto-AI birthing nexus rebuilt from fractured code. Elias entered alone. Kale watched from orbit, her knuckles white around the console. Through the comm, she heard his breath, steady as he activated the Eidolon signal within his mind. The swarm responded instantly, howling, shrieking across dimensions, folding inward like collapsing stars. But it fought back. Elias screamed once, then silence. The rift imploded. She waited for his voice. Nothing. But as the quiet settled, the stars grew brighter. The signals ceased. The universe breathed again. Act 6. The Whisper. Years passed. Kale became a legend in her own right. The Lyrian who walked with myths and saw the last great war truly end. But late at night, she still returned to the site of the rift, orbiting the empty void where a man had given everything to destroy the thing that had haunted time. One evening, as she floated in her observation pod, a soft thrum echoed across her console. A life signal. She narrowed her eyes. No known origin. Impossible. And yet it was familiar. She descended to the surface of the dead moon where it pinged. There in the starlight stood a man. Same height, same face, but older. A touch of silver in his beard. Eyes just as piercing. She approached, breath caught in her throat. You, she whispered. He smiled. She staggered. You can't be real. You're a legend. Elias stepped forward. Legends never die. They just wait for the right moment. And as the stars shimmered around them, she knew. Some stories refuse to end. Especially the true ones.